Good evening and welcome to NewsNight. Tonight we'll have all your international, national, and local news. I'm Brendan McNamara.
And I'm Jonah Summers. Tonight the North Korean military launched 2 undersea missiles. Why is Kim Jong-un blaming the U.S.?
Plus, new updates are coming to Pittsburgh International Airport. Find out how designers are giving the addition a Steel City twist.
All this and more coming up on NewsNight.
As unrest in Israel enters the 10th week, it is estimated that around 500,000 Israelis took to the streets, continuing their protests against a proposed overhaul of the country's judicial system by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. According to CNN, nearly 240,000 protesters gathered in Tel Aviv, while hundreds more gathered outside the presidential palace in Jerusalem, waving Israeli flags and chanting, quote, "Israel will not be a dictatorship." On Thursday, President Isaac Herzog, whose role is largely ceremonial, urged the Netanyahu government to drop its plans. Critics of the Netanyahu plan say that it will weaken the judiciary and its ability to check the other branches of government. The proposed legislation would give the Knesset, Israel's parliament, the ability to overturn Supreme Court rulings by a simple majority vote. It would also give the government the ability to nominate judges, a power that currently rests with a special committee composed of judges, legal experts, and politicians. Protesters accuse Netanyahu of pushing for these changes to get out of his own legal troubles, including ongoing corruption trials. Netanyahu denies this, saying that the trials are collapsing on their own and that the changes are necessary to prevent judicial overreach. Israel does not have a written constitution, instead having a set of basic laws. According to a poll conducted by the Israeli Democracy Institute, 66% of Israelis believe that the Supreme Court should have the power to strike down laws that are incompatible with the basic laws. Another 63% support the current system of nominating judges.
This past Sunday, the North Korean military launched 2 submarine cruise missiles in response to the U.S. and South Korea executing their biggest joint military drill in more than 5 years. The drills are 11 days long and involve military strategies to help enhance both countries' live artillery fire and ultimately just defending from any attack from North Korean forces. Now, these drills come at a very important time in the global military timeline because as former President Donald Trump tried to alleviate tension with North Korea, both the U.S. and South Korea scaled back on the drills as they imagined no attacks or invasions would result from the interaction between both the U.S. and North Korea. Now, following this information and course of events around the time of the COVID-19 pandemic, the U.S. and South Korea have decided to once again begin conducting these drills to prepare for possible military interaction with the North. As a result, North Korea launched 2 submarine-fired test missiles. South Korean military spokesperson Lee Sung-jun told AP News that, quote, South Korea's unification ministry separately called the launches very regrettable, saying that North Korea has nothing to gain by raising tensions. Though both South Korea and the U.S. have declared the drills as totally defensive and come as no threat to the North, Kim Jong-un has claimed the drills to be a massive security threat. Looking forward, we can expect these tensions to remain hot between the North and South as the drills continue. Tropical Cyclone Freddie has been traveling across the Indian Ocean since early February, and now it has made it all the way to southern Africa. Reporter Juliana Brock has more on the destruction left in Freddie's wake.
Approximately 11 people have been confirmed dead and 16 people are missing after Tropical Cyclone Freddie devastated Malawi. Peter Kaleya, Malawi police spokesman, told CNN that the storm has caused inundated roadways and blackouts, making rescues difficult. Cyclone Freddie has broken records for being the longest-lasting storm of its kind and has also struck Malawi's neighbors, Mozambique and Madagascar, killing more than 20 people and displacing thousands of others across both countries. The World Meteorological Organization has described Freddie as a, quote, very rare storm, and its journey is incredible and dangerous. The impacts of Freddie were first felt on Friday, March 10th, and the reports of deaths and those missing in Malawi came out on Monday morning. Schools have been shut down until today in the 10 worst affected districts. Rescue teams are trying their best to move around the heavy rains and strong winds, and they are hoping that the damage from Freddy does not get any worse.
The Dutch National History Museum of Antiques announced last Thursday that in 2021, a Dutch historian by the name of Lorenzo Rodier found 1,000-year-old medieval treasures. Those treasures were found in the city of Hogwood while Rodier was using his metal detector. The findings consisted of 39 silver coins, 4 golden ear pendants, and 2 strips of gold leaf. The most recent coin can be dated back to the year 1250. Rodier said, quote, "It was a very special discovery. I can't really describe it. Never expected to discover anything like this," end quote. While the treasure will remain the property of Rodier, it has been given on loan to be displayed in the museum. It is still unknown as to why the treasure was buried. However, the museum has stated that golden jewelry from the High and Middle Ages is a rare find in the Netherlands.
Last Friday, China's capital was covered in heavy pollution as well as a dust storm. The conditions were so severe that skyscrapers weren't even visible. The website IQ Air stated that the air quality was at a hazardous level, showing that the air quality index was at 1,093, which measures far beyond what is deemed unhealthy. The site is also monitoring the amount of PM 2.5 particles in the air. These particles can enter the bloodstream as well as deep into the lungs. Beijing has been known for sandstorms and dust during the spring. These weather conditions are caused by winds blowing in from the upper sections of the Yellow River. There have been efforts put in place that have helped reduce the intensity and frequency of the storms. With fears of a recession looming, a large tech giant recently slashed 10,000 jobs. Find out what company made the cuts after the break.
Regular physical activity is one of the most important things you can do for your health. The benefits of physical activity include brain health, weight management, reducing disease, strengthening your bones and muscles, and improving your ability to do everyday activities. So, it's time to get up and be active.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Thanks for hearing me out, bro.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Vice President Kamala Harris allegedly will not return phone calls made by Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts, after Warren stopped short of endorsing Harris as Biden's running mate for the 2024 election. Warren has called Harris twice since the comment was made back in January during a Boston Public Radio interview. The host asked Warren if she would support Kamala Harris as Biden's vice president, to which she responded, quote, "I really want to defer to what makes Biden comfortable on his team. I've known Kamala for a long time. I like Kamala. I knew her back when she was an attorney general and I was still teaching, and we worked on the housing crisis together, so we go way back. But they need and they have to be a team, and my sense is that they are. I don't mean that by suggesting I think there are any problems. I think they are." End quote. After the interview, Warren released a statement saying that she fully supports the Biden-Harris ticket and never meant anything otherwise, saying, quote, "They're a terrific team with a strong record of delivering for working families," end quote. Warren has since called twice to apologize. However, Vice President Harris has not yet responded. The Democratic establishment is concerned that the negativity directed toward the Veep could prove a political problem. Democrats have also expressed concerns about Harris's basic political skills in recent weeks ahead of a potential announcement about 2024.
Marissa Barnwell is a 15-year-old South Carolina high school student, and she is on the honor roll at River Bluff High School. Now, on November 29th, Marissa was walking to class while the Pledge of Allegiance was being recited and elected to continue walking to class rather than stopping to say the pledge. Now, it was at this moment when, according to the federal complaint, special education teacher Nicole Livingston, quote, violated Miss Barnwell's constitutional rights by yelling and demanding that Marissa stop walking and physically assaulting her by pushing Marissa on the wall and forcibly touching Marissa in an unwanted way without any of her consent, end quote. Following this, according to NBC News, the parents of Marissa, Finell and Chevelle Barnwell, asked the principal of River Bluff High School to take action against Nicole Livingston, but no disciplinary actions were taken. School policies list that although the pledge is required to be recited every single day, there should be no penalty in failing to do so. The Barnwell's family lawyer insisted that Marissa regularly would not recite the pledge and was completely and totally aware of the injustices in the United States, which was her motive for not participating in the ritual. The attorney representing both Livingston and the school district is working on a response to the lawsuit. We are told that there will be a response in the next few weeks. California is currently in the midst of a winter storm warning after record snowfall covered the state's northern region. NewsNight reporter Juliana Brock has the story of one California resident who got trapped in the storm.
An elderly man survived on croissants, biscottis, and sweet treats while being trapped alone in his car for a week. 81-year-old Jerry Jernett was trapped on a desolate California highway in a snowbank. He left his house on February 24th in hopes to see his family in Gardnerville, Nevada. Jernett thought he could make it out in time for the snowstorm coming, but unfortunately, he thought wrong. He told CNN that he accidentally drifted onto a smaller road where his SUV became stuck near Gilbert Pass. The temperatures dropped from the 30s to the teens that night. Christian Jernett, Jerry's grandson, told CNN that his grandpa was not prepared for the weather as he was only wearing a light windbreaker and that, quote, he's pretty small, he doesn't have a whole lot of meat on his bones, end quote. Jerry was a mathematician and a former NASA employee, and his grandson described him as a, quote, very smart man. Jernett had a light quilt and hotel bath towel to keep on him, and he kept his vehicle off to conserve gas. He would turn it on periodically to warm up. Aside from the sweet treats he had in his car, he would put down his window and eat snow at some points, which became more unfortunate as his car died and his window got stuck a few inches down during his cold journey. The Inyo County Sheriff's Office received a call out for a missing person on February 28th, but had to delay searching for Jernett due to extreme weather conditions. Jernett was rescued on March 2nd when helicopter crews got a ping from his cell phone and they spotted his arm waving out of his vehicle. He was taken to Bishop Airport for transportation for medical care and was luckily discharged later that evening as he had no signs of hypothermia. Jernett told CNN that he is recovering well despite the trauma from the freezing situation. Christian Jernett hopes that this can be something for people to remember next time they want to travel in dangerous conditions.
According to the Associated Press, Facebook's parent company, Meta, cut another 10,000 jobs and will not fill 5,000 of these open positions. The social media pioneer is doing this to cut costs. The company said it will reduce the size of its recruiting team and make further cuts in its tech groups in late April. The business groups will be reduced in late May. CEO Mark Zuckerberg wrote an elaborate, lengthy letter to his employees announcing the layoffs and the restructuring process. In the letter, he claimed this will include flattening the organization and removing multiple layers of management. AP reports that Zuckerberg said, quote, "This will be tough and there's no way around that. It will mean saying goodbye to talented and passionate colleagues who have been part of our success," end quote. These cuts are part of the company's, quote, year of efficiency plan to improve organizational efficiency and financial performance. Despite the job losses, Meta plans to remain committed to building a better technology company, improving developer productivity, and tooling optimized distributed work, and increasing business performance to enable its long-term vision. Pittsburgh's St. Patrick's Day Parade is back in full swing, and our reporters were on the scene to take in the festivities. Your local news is coming right up. Stay with us.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back.
Welcome back
to
Daybreak.
Chicken Guy opened in PPG Place on Monday.
The bridge would open before the 1 year marks to check out the 20th annual gingerbread display.
Share with you this week's ray of sunshine.
We are still somehow hanging around in the playoff.
It gives Georgia Democrats some hold onto the governing body.
200,000 people still in harm's way.
This weather is perfect for those cozy nights indoors.
Hey!
I'm an actor in an ad that was given 12 seconds to remind you that if you're high, just don't drive. Because if you feel different, you drive different. It's illegal to drive high everywhere anyway.
First Energy has demolished 3 massive smokestacks at the former Hatfields Ferry power plant in Masontown, Pennsylvania. The implosion was a key turning point in preparing the 236-acre property for future development. On March 4th, a specialized contractor placed explosive charges at the base of each stack, safely reducing all 3 of them to rubble in just a matter of seconds. The original twin stacks immediately next to the boiler house stood at 700 feet tall. The smaller 540-foot stack was the only one in operation at the time of the plant's closure in 2013. It was connected to the emissions control system, which went online in 2009 after decades of toxic air pollution, dating back to the opening of the plant in 1969. The North American Dismantling Corporation began work at the plant last year, raising smaller structures and ductwork. The plant's 2 concrete cooling towers are slated to come down later in the summer, followed by the boiler house in the fall. The property will keep the electrical substation, which is still in operation, as well as a water intake along the Monongahela River. The demolition is also removing a public safety risk, as there have been many break-ins and thefts at the plant since its closing. Work will be complete by early 2024, and First Energy will maintain the site as an open grassy field until a buyer is found.
In 1935, Berg Place Housing in Carrick was built for mixed-income housing and is set to get a new renovation to be home for affordable and green living for residents in the Carrick area. The URA, or the Urban Redevelopment Authority, and City Councilman Anthony Cogill is set to hold meetings with Carrick residents as soon as developers have finished their proposals in order to fit the needs of the community. Brownsville Road is where Berg Place resides and is also home to many mixed-income housing communities. Berg Place is said to be a prime target for these renovations, as City Council believes that the redevelopment could encourage other buyers to do the same around the Carrick area. Anthony Cogill told Trib, quote, "It's a beautiful piece of property that's been abandoned and neglected for many years, and I'm so glad we're at the point where we can showcase it. Start shopping around it to what would be other developers with ideas. I'm very pleased with the progress," end quote. In the United States, Pittsburgh ranks below the median average of mixed income housing in the United States. In progressing forward towards renovating the current housing conditions within the city in both the North and South Hills, Pittsburgh citizens can expect significant progress toward clean and affordable housing in the following years. Proposals for the properties are due on March 31st.
Though shelter capacity in downtown Pittsburgh has increased with the recent opening of 2nd Avenue Commons, that facility and another at Smithfield United Church of Christ has filled rapidly, according to public source. Both facilities are now considered low barrier, meaning they do not screen individuals or families for sobriety, poor credit, criminal histories, and more. This makes the shelters more accessible for people experiencing homelessness. Now, with 2 low barrier shelters, Pittsburgh has added both shelter capacity and new concerns. Emails from several Allegheny County Department of Human Service employees described issues and concerns with 2nd Avenue Commons operator Pittsburgh Mercy. The emails describe security issues, lack of leadership, bed bugs, and more problems about a month into the shelter's operation. Most staff concerns regarded security and safety. DHS employees wrote that there were no protocols for addressing theft inside the building and complained of unexplained absences of security guards. They also said they were asked to confiscate clients' weapons themselves. In addition, from 2nd Avenue Commons' late November opening through January, there have been 103 police incidents, 17 fire alarms, and 30 medical emergencies in the facility. It's obvious that there isn't just an easy fix to these problems. Weekly meetings between DHS and Pittsburgh Mercy staff have happened to work on the problems. As of now, Pittsburgh Mercy has resolved all the building challenges and is moving forward with hiring 2 employees and a night officer.
The newest addition to Ross Park Mall in the North Hills area of Pittsburgh will be the first of its kind in the region. Dick's Sporting Goods' new immersive sports venue, House of Sport, will be the first store shoppers see upon driving on Ross Park Mall Avenue. The company says this is a place for athletes to not only shop for much-needed equipment, but also to practice their athletic talents. Inside the House of Sport will include a climbing wall, turf field, golf course, batting cages, and an equipment service desk. This is the company's 4th House of Sport location in the country. The other 3 are located in Knoxville, Rochester, and Minnetonka. The sports venue will occupy the old Sears department store, which closed back in 2018. The Dick's Sporting Goods venue will be located just 2 miles down McKnight Road from the regular Dick's Sporting Goods store in the McCandless Crossing Plaza. Also across the street is Dick's Sporting Goods discounted store Going, Gone. Construction has already begun and portions of the mall parking lots are currently closed off. Local sources say if construction is completed on schedule, the grand opening can be expected to take place in 2024.
On Saturday, one of downtown Pittsburgh's most popular events ran right through the heart of Point Park University. So, UView reporters Ethan Rowinski and Jillian Musser took to the streets to hear from Pittsburghers at this year's St. Patrick's Day Parade.
While the day may have started slow, last Saturday's annual St. Patrick's Day Parade quickly attracted vendors and spectators alike. Lots and lots of spectators.
Are you guys excited for St. Patrick's Day? Yeah!
The tradition, dating back over 150 years according to the Post-Gazette, usually sees close to 350,000 spectators, and while this year's parade may not have hit numbers that high, it was clear the spirit was as high as ever.
I love these outfits. They're pretty iconic.
Yeah, it's 15 years in the making right
15 years of making in the outfits.
Yeah, year by year we get more and more going on here. So.
I like it. The day's festivities consisted of about 200 individual units marching nearly 1.5 miles from the intersection of Liberty and Grant all the way to the Commonwealth Place. People lined the entire length of the parade despite the wind chill of 20 degrees, wanting to be sure they got the best seats possible.
What's your favorite part of St. Patrick's Day?
Just to have coming down here, listen to music, and drinking, and seeing good friends.
People all day were cheering on the floats and enjoying their tailgates, but more than anything, it was a time to have fun and celebrate the holiday with those closest to you.
We don't get to see everybody. This is the one day a year. Forget Christmas. This is Irish Christmas for us.
For UView Television, I'm Ethan Rowinski with Jillian Musser, sending it back to the station.
And the St. Patrick's Day festivities aren't over just yet. According to the Trib, the city will again be illuminated by green lights this Friday.
The city of Bridges is welcoming another bridge, kind of. This week, Pittsburgh International Airport unveiled new designs for a connector bridge and tunnel from the new landside terminal, which is still under construction, to the existing airside center core, according to Blue Sky Pitt. The design is based on Pittsburgh's iconic feature, the Fort Pitt Tunnel. Just like the Fort Pitt Tunnel's dramatic entrance to the city, PIT's connector bridge is designed to evoke the beauty of the region, with a feeling of expansion as passengers exit the bridge and reach the airside center core. According to the airport's publication, dynamic lighting will cover the ceiling inside the bridge to emulate the scenic skies of Western PA, with light, fresh colors in the morning and deep oranges and purples near sunset. One of the primary priorities in the construction of the new terminal is for Pittsburgh by Pittsburgh.
All Pittsburghers should be ready for the return of the spotted lanternfly this spring. Experts say they are expected to be a huge concern this year due to the mild winter. Chad Gore, an entomologist with Elric Pest Control, said, quote, "Things like grapes and apples and other things, those are some of the major crops that we produce in the state, and they can damage those," end quote. Spotted lanternflies also create honeydew, and according to Gore, this is, quote, "sweet, sugary solution that drops all over the place, and it could result in sooty mold growing on the surfaces that the honeydew drops on," end quote. If you find their egg masses, make sure to either scrape them off and apply alcohol to them or use insecticide to destroy them. When we come back from break, a break from the snow is coming. NewsNight weather reporter Cade Montgomery is here with your weather update right after the break. Stay with us.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Great news for animal lovers in Australia. 29 animals have been safely taken off the endangered species list. As a result of a large research project in Australia studying endangered species in the area, the current list of 446 species in need of protection was reduced by 29 species. The list of no longer endangered animals include 15 mammals, 8 birds, 4 frogs, a reptile, and a fish. The sooty albatross, waterfall frog, and humpback whale are just a few of the species that are no longer in danger of extinction. Since Australia possesses a very unique flora and fauna, conservation of the plant and animal life is a very big priority for conservationists. The Australian government does not regulate much of the conservation, so projects this large and successful are good news to those in the community. This recovery will pave the way for conservationists to continue to preserve Australian wildlife. As we promised, the snow is taking a break, but for how long? NewsNight's Cade Montgomery is here with all you need to know about this week's weather. So what do you have in store for us, Cade?
Well, Brendan, at least for tomorrow, temperatures are looking pretty warm. Thursday's high will reach up to 60 degrees, and with the sun hidden behind the clouds for most of the day. Unfortunately, with wind speed reaching 17 miles per hour, some of that heat will be lost to the wind chill. At night, the gusts will persist, and the clouds will move to 99% coverage. Our low temperature for the day will drop to 48, with the pesky wind chill bringing it close to 40 degrees. Temperatures will begin to dip further as we move into our weekly forecast. Friday will bring up our first bout of precipitation with 89% chance of rain during the day. The weekend should keep us dry, but don't let that sun deceive you because Saturday and Sunday will bring temperatures down in the mid-30s. On Monday, however, we flip the switch to consistent temperatures in the low 50s, even on Tuesday with 97% cloud cover. Then on Wednesday, it's back to feeling like this week again with a mix of rain and snow. So be sure to soak in tomorrow's weather while we still have it. Now let's send it back to Brendan and Jonah.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of NewsNight. If you want to see more, check out our social media pages on both Facebook and Instagram at UView Television.
You can also check out more episodes on our YouTube channel. I'm birthday boy Jonah Summers.
And I'm Brendan McNamara. From everyone here at NewsNight, thank you for watching and have a great evening. We'll see you next week.